the truth.
Hey guys, it's Kath. Oh my god. Today I'm switching my Earl Grey for a whiskey. Look how pretty the box is. It's Writer's Tears Irish whiskey. Listen, I said I wasn't going to bring the alcohol out until like definitely not as early as the second video, but listen, I feel like my reasons for doing so are justified. While I was editing my booktube newbie tag, I did not realize how slowly I talk. It was so infuriating going back and listening to me say like 2 words per minute. So I was thinking, what's a way for me to get not awkward? And Cassie told me, just get drunk. Like hell, half of my videos I'm drunk as a skunk. So I'm like, bet.
Child. Anyway, so
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky. Little lights on. Climb aboard, get ready to explore. There's so much to find. Little lights on.
oh baby, nah, that ain't gonna work.
I've had a very long, hard day. I was on hold for 3 hours with customer service. No shade to the customer service person, I think they're warriors. The person I talked to, Joel, he was the kindest, sweetest, the most accommodating human I've ever met. And honestly, it was a very awkward situation for the both of us. Wow, I can feel myself getting less anxious already. Casty, you are a mastermind. You have the
I have the mind of a I have the mind of a mastermind. What's that? I don't know, but I'm so creative like that.
Thank you so much for the love in my last video. I honestly thought that only 20 people would watch that video. I only thought my family would watch that video. Today's video, I'm reading old love letters I've received and recommending romance books based off them. If you write me a letter, I will fall in love with you. It's that easy. Anyone who's close friends with me knows that I love writing letters, I love receiving letters. I've saved every letter that I've ever received. So the first letter I have is from one of my best friends in the world, Michael. To give a little context, in the junior year of my high school, I transferred from a high school that I really loved to enroll into this school that had this very prestigious international program called Those were the worst years of my life, junior and senior year of high school. Within 2 years of enrolling into this very difficult program, my father passed away from colon cancer. I was in this completely new school with no one I knew, and honestly they weren't very friendly, and I was also taking on a really intense course load, so it was a lot at once. So you know how like the Queen of England says that 1992 was her annus horribilis, or like horrible year? Junior year of high school was my anus I'm so immature, I'm so sorry. Junior year of high school was my anus horribilis. But the silver lining of those years is that I got to meet Michael. He's like a brother to me. His nickname on my phone is literally One-chan, like the fucking weeb he is. We went through a lot together as the only openly bisexual people in our school. Oh my god, I'm getting vulnerable here. I hate that. I have no emotions. I have no emotions. I'm a robot. Basically, my #1 goal since childhood was to move out of Vancouver. I had experienced some not good things here. I was like, I want to move out. I want to be on my own. I can't live in this city anymore. And the only way my mom said she could support that was if I got into a school that was good enough to warrant paying that much amount of money, like an Ivy League school or something. So basically, beginning of senior year, I had applied to Columbia, NYU, UCLA, UC Berkeley, UChicago, my entire life was leading up to this moment, and I was very, very nervous to hear the results. I told a few of my friends to write me 2 letters, one yes letter for me to open if I got into one of the schools, and one no letter if I didn't get into the schools. And spoiler alert, I didn't get into any of them. And everything turned out okay. I go to the University of Toronto, which is still a pretty decent school if I do say so myself. Ew. So everything turned out okay. I got the fresh start away from Vancouver that I always wanted, but at the time it had seemed like the end of the world to me, and Mike's letter to me is something I go back to whenever I start doubting myself, and he let me share this with you today. Dear Kath, obviously this is not the result that either of us wanted for you. However, it is not over. It is never over until you yourself believes it is, and you're not the type of person to give up so easily. I know you, Kath. You have a heart of steel, a tongue of silver, and a heart of gold. In just the last 2 years that I have known you for, you've gotten through much more worse than this. I know you will be able to get through this as well. If a door closes, a window opens. I think this epitomizes your situation right now. Your rejection from these universities is nothing but a small bump in the road. Kath, you've lived all of 18 years in this world, and there are many more to come. This is nothing in the long run, unless you choose to make it a huge part. So, what if you got rejected? Go to UBC, transfer to schools, there are so many options. You are not limited to this. All roads truly do lead to Rome. I'm gonna cry. I watched you, Kath, as you took on the world and came out all the better for it. You have so many strengths and you are such a strong individual. This rejection, this is nothing for you. If anything, use this as motivation to prove these admissions officers wrong. Make it a chip on your shoulder to show the world that there is more to Kath than meets the eye, just like you have done to me. One day when you're up on the stage in Stockholm, receiving the Nobel Prize in Literature, it's never gonna happen. You'll have made them look like fools, and you'll be more decorated than any of their professors ever will be. Your story is one that you write yourself. I think it will be one that is remembered by everyone. The girl, in spite of every setback, overcame the odds to become an internationally celebrated author. It will be one that teachers will tell their students to inspire them from every setback they face. You will become someone who defines a generation. Kath, you have a special gift. You may not see it yourself, but know that everyone around you can see it. You are strong, you are amazing, and honestly, I don't know how anything can stand in your way if you put your mind to it. Make the most of your opportunities and don't let this faze you. I am willing to bet that in the future you're going to make these universities choke on this rejection. They've passed up the opportunity to call one of their best writers in the world their alumni. Stay gold, Kath. Michael. I knew you would sign it. But back to the point of the video. So for Michael's letter, I chose Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. If you don't know, it's the 3rd book of the very popular To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. It's one of my favorite YA romances ever. I love the movie, I love the books. And the reason why I chose Always and Forever Lara Jean is because Lara Jean is in her senior year and the anxiety surrounding college is like a very prevalent thing throughout the book. I would like to see more YA that deals with the admissions process and worrying about university and that kind of thing. Always and Forever Lara Jean I rated 5 out of 5 stars. P.S. I Love You is definitely my favorite because I'm a John Ambrose supremacist. The next 2 letters are written by my best friends Humaira and Steph. Together we make like a queer rat pack. So they wrote me those letters during my 19th birthday. Steph's present was my favorite thing ever. She had gotten me a small pouch with like patterns of marijuana on it, even though I don't smoke marijuana. And inside the little pouch, she had gotten me, for some reason, lingerie. Like these panties. I don't know why or if they were hers, but They're the softest panties I own, let me tell you. But most importantly, she had gotten me these very cozy reading socks. And it's from one of those organizations where when you buy one of their socks, you pay for a child in China to learn how to read. The card too, it's like very sturdy, good quality paper. See, it even says good paper. I believe it. It says, handcrafted in the Philippines by a woman who escaped sex trafficking using handmade recycled paper on a traditional letterpress. She researched these organizations and bought the socks and card because she knew it'd be something I'm passionate about. Honestly, that sentiment alone is so much more special than any material possession she could have gotten me. And this card is also one of the best letters I've ever received in my life too. Hey sexy lady! On February 17th, 2001, the most beautiful, wholesome, and caring Taiwanese girl was born. Little did she know, she would grow up to be one of the best writers in the world. Dubious. Kath, you are amazing. I've never met someone as passionate and caring about all the issues in the world than you. You exude love and joy everywhere you go. Kath, you remind me of the sun. You might be baby, but I still look up to you as a role model. You have been through so much shit that you should be a toilet. You are a big reminder to me to keep my head high and that things will always get better. And then she crossed it out and wrote easier. You published your own book. By this point I had self-published an anthology in dedication to my dad and donated the proceeds to cancer research. You published your own book. You fundraise for cancer awareness and research, and you advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, all while fending the patriarchy as a queer and Asian woman. You don't take shit from anyone, and you protect your friends with all your might. Kath, you're powerful. My favorite memories of you have got to be when you cluelessly don't know famous people or sayings. You're so funny without even trying. Whenever someone is down, you are always the first person to help, to offer to buy them bubble tea or a donut. I hope your birthday treats you as well as you treat everyone else. Kath, you are so special. You hold a dear place in my heart. Keep on making Harry Potter references, you massive dork. Well, we all know I'm not doing that anymore. Love, Steph. Smiley face. One thing I really appreciate about Steph's card is that she mentioned the issues I'm passionate about. So for this reason, I chose 10 Things I Hate About Pinky by Sandhya Menon. Basically, this is the third book in the When Dimple Met Rishi series, and it's a YA high school romance of this social justice warrior named Pinky Kumar. She has a fake dating situation with Samir Jha, and it's an opposites attract and an enemies to lovers romance, which I'm a huge big fan of. I actually haven't read this yet, or 10 Things I Love About Sweetie.
What did you say? What did you say?
I really liked the first book, When Dimple Met Rishi. I think I rated it 3 stars. But yes, very excited to read this, very excited to read 10 Things About Sweeney, because it's fat rep and Indian rep, which we love in this house. And Humaira's letter. Happy birthday, Kat. You're finally 19, which means you're providing all the children with the essentials, hehe, JK. As I said before, I don't smoke. It actually means you're closer to death than the rest of us, lucky ass, JK. Again, clearly, I don't know how to write a birthday card. I enjoy every convo we have where we shit on the hets. The gays are slowly spawning and we're taking over the world. Love that for us. Keep being the hilarious, intelligent, and stunning bitch you are because you're absolutely incredible. And there's like this little illustration of us and she says, let's pretend that's a scarf. Because at this point, I wore my Hufflepuff scarf religiously everywhere I went. Again, not anymore. So since Humi mentioned the queer agenda and how we're abolishing the heads, of course I had to choose a queer book, and I chose I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deer. I absolutely love this book. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Basically, this book follows this non-binary teen named Ben who gets kicked out of their house after they come out to their parents as non-binary, and they're forced to move in with their estranged sister and her husband, and then they get transferred into a new school where they meet a boy named Nathan. Right? His name's Nathan, right?
What?
I'm sorry, what?
It was the first book I read with a non-binary main character who uses they, them pronouns, and it won't be the first. Cheers to that. It's the first book I read with a main character who uses they them pronouns, and it won't be the last. The last, not the first. The last. The alcohol did loosen my nerves, but it also made me much, much dumber. And the next letter I have is from my close friend Nina. I met her in the 9th grade or the 10th grade. I think the 9th grade. She was the first writing friend I had ever met, and this was a birthday card given to me during the Annus Horribilis. Happy belated birthday. I know this past year hasn't been the greatest, but know that I'll always have faith in you no matter what you do. Unless it's drugs, then I will. I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself. I'm sure I'm not the only one. The world needs more Katharina. Anyways, happy 18th birthday. I know it's long overdue, but I brought you your ring. And the ring she's referring to is this ring that I usually wear every day. But unfortunately, it's back in my apartment. But this just happens to me, even when there's not a camera around. Sometimes I have, like, cuts on my fingers and I don't know where they come from. The other day, I almost burned myself. I was cooking and I almost burned myself. This ring is something she got me when I was 6 months clean of self-harm. And usually I wear it every day, but it's in my apartment in Toronto. When I moved back to Vancouver, I truly thought that it'd only be for like 3 months max, and turns out I'm here for at least another year, so whoop-de-doo. Go Hannah, go Hannah, go Hannah, go Hannah. I love to drink to forget about my problems.
Little Einstein, we're going on a mission. Start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone to rockets, rev it up now. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky. Little Einstein.
For this letter, I chose Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I unfortunately wasn't too big a fan of this book. I rated it 2 out of 5 stars. The reason being I found the writing style very listless. It seemed very much telling instead of showing. Like, Chloe did this and then she did that, and I just had a lot of trouble like going along with it. And in addition to that, the third act conflict typical in romance books seemed very abrupt to me, and it was resolved very quickly, which didn't allow me to take it very seriously. Red was just really not my type. I did not find him physically attractive. His knuckle tattoos that spell mom and his long red hair. Throughout the book, I just kept picturing Jared Leto. Even though I didn't like this book, I'm still so excited to read Talia Hibbert's other books. Take a Hint, Danny Brown sounds so good. And even though I didn't like this book, I would absolutely still recommend it to people for 5 reasons. 1, it's important to support Black books written by Black authors. 2, not only is the main character a fat Black woman, but she's a fat Black woman with fibromyalgia. And I have friends who deal with chronic pain, and the whole phenomenon with medical misogyny and like people with chronic pain going to doctors and being told that it's all in their head and that there's nothing wrong with them is absurd. I think that representation is very important, and I'm very glad to see it in Chloe. 3, the love interest Red is dealing with the aftermath of an abusive relationship, and personally I haven't read many books that explore how men deal with abusive relationships. I think that's very important to represent as well in order to deconstruct that patriarchal mindset. Number 4, the smut is well written, like really well written, if you know what I mean. And number 5, because I'm in the minority. Most people love this book, and you might too. So there you go. 5 reasons to read Get a Life Chloe Brown, even though I personally did not like it. That's the end of this video, as well as the bottom of this glass. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching me read out loud my love letters, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you got to the end of this video, don't forget to leave a love letter emoji. I read all of your comments, it makes me really happy. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next week. Bye!